All right. Hello and welcome to Hello Governor the podcast. As always, I am Abdullah, and with me today is Cedric J. Williams. How you doing, Cedric?
I'm good. How you doing?
It's been a crazy year to say the least.
I know, right? Yeah. It's been busy, it's been crazy. But blessed to be here. So sorry it took so long for us to finally get this to happen. Work is booming right now, which is a good thing. But I appreciate your patience and getting me on your show. Can't wait to answer some questions and you know talk to the people.
No, because I just thank you and thank you so much for being so kind with your schedule as well. Because I know that because I keep up with people on Instagram. I see how how many stuff you book and like how you're constantly doing like the con scene and what have you and all that other stuff. So I know it can get really hectic to keep track of everything. So again, thank you so much for making the time off to do this because I know how busy it is. You know?
No problem, no problem.
So I mean
Happy to be here.
the first question is the obvious one, but we got to get it out the way first. How did you get started and what made you want to get into voiceover?
I started off doing on-camera acting. I came out to LA after high school with stars in my eyes. I was like, I'm gonna be a movie star. I started off doing on camera, like I was auditioning for like Disney stuff, Nickelodeon stuff, doing the indie films and the student films. And, whenever I saw like voice acting auditions, like I would occasionally see them on Craigslist or Actors Access, and it would really interest me. But I didn't know it was a thing. And I saw this video one day of this guy. He made a voice over demo, and it just sort of clicked for me that voice acting was a thing. I've always loved like cartoons and anime and video games. I was always made fun of for the way that I talked. I spoke very proper and different than my peers, being from Kentucky and being a military brat. And I was made fun of. But I didn't really know was a career path because everybody just talks about on camera acting. And so like when I saw this video, it sparked something. And then when I am interested in something, I become an expert at it. So I listen to podcasts of voice actors. I would go on this website called Voice Bank, and I would listen to demos of my favorite voice actors. I found out that my favorite voice actors did multiple characters that I didn't know that they did, like Tom Kenny voicing the mayor in Powerpuff Girls, not just SpongeBob, also Heifer and Rocco, and a bunch of other Ice King and Adventure Time. I didn't know he was those other characters, and so I like absorbed all this info, and I eventually made my own demo, submitted it to agents and studios. And then after years of auditioning and just networking, I came across a manager who for on camera, but she didn't sign me for on camera. She actually like wanted to meet me because she wanted to refer me to a big voiceover agent. So after that, I got the agent, auditioned some more, and kept on auditioning, and eventually I booked something. And once you book something, people know your work, and then it just sort of was a domino effect. Work begets work, and so that's what. And then eventually I got to the point I am today. So yeah, it's been a journey.
And what was your first ever on camera or voiceover credit? Because I know with IMDb it lists something and it could be right, but it could be wrong. So I don't know. What was the first job you ever booked, basically is my
My first
question.
voiceover job credited was I think it was an AT&T commercial. Um, I think I was like a college student or something like that. My first cartoon was a Cartoon Network pilot called Lasso and Comet. I played this anglerfish called Anglord, and it had Richard Horvitz in it as like the Cloud King or something like that, if I remember right. Claude, I think was his name, and he was like this frantic cloud minister guy, and I was like this Grady voice, anglerfish with combat boots. So I got to work with the legend on my first Cartoon Network, on my first like ever job, cartoon, and my first anime was Cheetu and Hunter x Hunter. Um, and yeah, like, and that was quite a legendary anime to be a part of during your first anime. So really grateful to be a part of that show. Um, but yeah, a lot of first, but they all are important to me because they kind of were like milestones in this newly like formed interest in voice acting. When I first started, like I had these goals and like I was like, oh, first commercial, cool. Oh, first cartoon, cool. Oh, first anime, let's go. And from there it's made me into I to who I am today. So really happy for all the things I've been able to do. It's been a blessing.
Was there any pressure going into something like Hunter x Hunter because it's a big manga, popular anime? Like, was there a lot of pressure going into that, or was it just not? It was just work.
I didn't know how big it was. I was just happy to be a part of an anime, but whenever I do get booked as a character, I'll do research on it. So like even though I didn't know how big it was, I looked at the character and I'm like, "Oh, he's a cheetah who's childish and energetic." I was nervous because it was my first time and I just wanted to do a good job. So, um yeah, so I'll say yes, but not knowing how big it was. So after like I was in it already, I was like, oh, this is a big deal. This is a legendary anime. This is like the second remake of this this anime. This manga's been out for a while, and like it's Cheetu. Even though he was my first anime character, he's still a lot of people like still like are like, oh, I love you as Cheetu. Like they still bring that up, even though I've done other characters after Cheetu because he's made such a big impact because he's in a big show like this. So it was a good way to start my anime career. So yeah,
And how did you take to dubbing? Was it easy or was it hard?
it's definitely a difficult technique. You know, the timing of it, not being able to take as much time on the line as you want. You have to match the Japanese. It was definitely a learning curve, and it was very like I was very nervous. Um, just you always think about like, will they keep me for the final product? And until you hear your voice coming out of that character, you're like, yeah, is this job still gonna be mine? So yeah, it took a lot, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. It's very technical, but it's so rewarding when you finally see the finished product. And shout out to the engineers who make us sound good. Shout out to the directors who get us to that performance. And yeah, and it's uh it's not just us voice actors. We're just the face, but there's a whole team to put it all together.
And when you're dubbing, do you look at the script or screen?
I do a little bit of both. If the script, I try to memorize the timing. And then, because we listen to the Japanese first. I do mostly look at the script, but if it's a lot, I'll look, I'll try to like match it as best as possible. And sometimes now they have the script on the screen, so and they do the rhythmic bands, like the red band. So I like those because then I can like keep my eyes on the screen and the words are right there and I can follow accordingly.
Oh, so you don't mind the karaoke method. It's not weird to you. It's like, ah, it's
I
fine.
don't. I like that. I like it a lot actually. I don't like looking up and down.
And was there ever a point, because I asked this of everybody who does anime, was there ever a point where you gave a read and then the director was like, oh, we gotta do it again because it didn't match the flaps?
All the time. I talk very fast. Like I'm actually slowing down right now. And so sometimes, like, because they don't know your speed of how you talk, and English and Japanese are really different. So they'll have to add a word sometimes. They'll have to, like, take words out. Yeah, it happens all the time. But, you know, if it's a really difficult word to say, and I'm like, yes, I nailed it. And then they're like, oh, you got to do that again. Like, too fast. I'm like, no, okay, all right, cool. But you just sort of roll with it and adapt.
And do you watch any of the stuff you're in, or can you not stand listening to yourself?
I've gotten better at it. I do watch my scenes to make sure that I did a good job, but I can't fully watch a full show because when I pop up, it does get me out of it. The only show I've watched to completion with me in it is Delicious in Dungeon because I really like the show. But yeah, other than that, not really. Everyone else sounds amazing, and then when I hear myself, it just gets me out of it because I remember what I was going through mentally when I was doing those scenes, and it's hard for me to immerse myself.
Oh no, it's very rare. Every time I ask voice actors that question, they're like, "I can't stand listening to myself. I'm just too hypercritical of
Hmm.
myself."
Yeah, man. It's difficult, but that's your brain telling you like you do sound amazing, but your brain is telling you like you're being like you're micromanaging your performance, but you sound good because the director wouldn't allow it to go through if you didn't sound good. So you got to trust your director, which every actor has to go through that. But yeah, you 9 times out of 10 you sound amazing. You're just in your head.
So you've never seen Demon Slayer. You've never watched it, because you're in it, right?
To completion, no. Even though I'm only a small part of Demon Slayer, I probably could watch Demon Slayer. That's another one that I'm gonna watch. It's enough of story now where I can like binge the whole thing. So yeah, yeah. Thanks for reminding me. I'm currently rewatching Doctor Stone, but I think I can get into some Demon Slayer. I like the artwork. I like the story so far. I did watch a little bit of season one. Senjuro shows up in season two, and he's in the movie briefly, so I can watch it. Yeah, I'm a small part of Demon Slayer, so I can watch that.
So I mean, it depends on the roles, I guess. Like, because sometimes you're brought in for like 1 or 2 episodes, so I think that would be
Yeah,
fine. Because it's like, 1 or 2 episodes, who cares?
yeah, yep. I won't be a distraction to myself.
So, I mean, speaking of Delicious in Dungeon, how did that whole thing come about? Like, how did you get involved in that?
I got an audition originally for Chill Chuck, and I was like, "Cool, wow, he looks like a fun character," and I didn't get it. And then I just got the email shortly after the audition saying, "Hey, you booked Kabru," and I'm like, "Kabru? I didn't read for him." And I looked him up, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I like him. Cool, protagonist, blue eyes, charismatic. I haven't played a character like this." And that was a very challenging role. It was the first time I didn't play a character where I was like big, energetic, funny character. He was grounded, he was charismatic, he had layers to him. So, closer to a protagonist type. And he was a challenge, but I love what we came up with. And he's one of my most beloved characters. A lot of people love Kabru. And so he's really opened up a lot of doors, and I can't wait to continue his story in season two, which has been announced already.
I mean, but who knows how many years we have to wait for that until that comes out? Because you
Hopefully
know,
next year. I think they said next year, if I'm not mistaken. By the time of the people hear this interview, I'm thinking next year, 2027 is when they said it, like October-ish, I think, if they don't change the dates.
oh man, who knows? I mean, 'cause all I remember is like season one wrapped up and it ended on a cliffhanger, and everyone's like, When's season two coming out?" And season two is announced, but we don't have a date, and then it's like, "Oh, okay, thank you."
People are waiting. Like we got Frey Ren to hold us over, the cozy anime. And then we have Witch Hat. So we got the trio of cozy fantasy animes. But it's time for Dungeon Meshi to come back. We ready?
Plus, like, it's like one of the few animes I can think of where Corey Burton has actually done. So there you go.
Bro, when I saw him a Disney legend coming up in there, I'm like, what? This is special. I'm like, yes. And I got to do a scene with him too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because I'm good friends with Corey, and that was pretty cool when he showed up. So you don't see
Hey,
that a
let's
lot.
go. Yeah. He
Yeah.
doesn't even do cons that much, I think, right? Like he and
Oh
him
no,
for him to do an anime.
I know he's a very private person, so that's why I was like shocked that they got him to do like an anime. It's like, oh man, that's crazy. And then I remember, oh no, he was in like he did like
Kingdom Hearts.
He did, what was it? Galaxy Express 999, I think that was what was it called. So he was in one, he's like in the original dub of that, so there you go.
Oh,
So
okay. So he's done. Okay, so he doesn't just do Kingdom Hearts and Disney stuff. He does. Okay, that was his second anime then. Okay, and he does more than just Disney stuff. Like he's a legend. But like Kingdom Hearts is kind of like a JRPG, closer to the anime form of acting. Um, and then you got Villages in Dungeon, which is amazing. I'm glad he did it. It was so cool to hear him.
yeah, no, it's crazy like listening because I remember talking to him about it, and it's crazy like, it's like, oh no, he mentions the director, and I'm like, and I just wanted to stop him and say, I don't know how weird that is, like hearing you say
Hmm.
like the director's name, because like in my mind, like the director has done like a lot of anime stuff, and I'm like, it's kind of weird hearing someone from like the Disney era talk about like an
Yeah, it's a
anime
different form of
person.
acting. Yeah. But he adjusted perfectly. Like he killed it. Shout out to Corey Burton.
Yeah, no, he's a wonderful, wonderful human being, and haven't talked to him in a while, but hopefully, I'm hoping he's I'm hoping he's doing well. Anyway, speaking of like conventions, because you mentioned like your character on that show is popular at cons. Like how you because I've noticed like you're doing more cons now. How has that experience been like for you?
It's been so rewarding. I was just getting like one or two cons a year, and then I started get now this is the most I've done this year, and it's so rewarding to like hear people's responses because you never know what people think of your work. And, you know, I want, I've always wanted to inspire people. I wanted my work to mean something. And hearing the feedback has been so rewarding. It's been a blessing. I'm really enjoying traveling to different places I've never been before, and just being amongst the people. I can't complain. I love it so much. I've met so many amazing people, and I would love to do more. I got a few cons coming up. I'm really excited to meet more people and just see my peers in their element doing their thing, and it's, it's just amazing. Like it's what I asked for, and I'm glad I'm finally having the chance to do it. Some people go to cons every weekend, and that seems pretty tiring. But like right now, I'm enjoying the consistent conventions. I don't think I'll ever get tired of it. I'm still new at it, so maybe I'm saying that now. But where I am right now, I'm loving it, and I can't see myself ever getting tired of it because it's you get to just meet people and just be around people that love your work. Like, why not? That's great. It's fun.
I mean, you say that now, but just wait until you're like, a specific character of yours gets popular, and then you're like, oh man, I don't have any prints for this character.
Yeah, you're right. Uh, well, we'll see. I'm enjoying the ride right now and can't wait to see what's next.
And have you ever had that moment? Because a lot of times I know that you guys don't record together, and everyone's busy nowadays, so you barely get to interact with anybody in the business. But have you ever had that moment where you go to a con and then you meet someone and you're like, hey, you don't know me, but we worked on this thing together?
Yes. Let's see. Well, maybe not working with them, but like interact a lot of interacting on Twitter or X and Instagram. Like they know who I am and I know who they are, and we're just meeting for the first time. That's been my experience because a lot of us, a lot of voice actors, we do hang out outside of work too. Like we'll go to a coffee shop, we'll get ramen. There's birthday parties, a ton of birthday parties, a lot of mixers. So we do see each other, in our respectable circles. So yeah, it's been mostly like, oh, hey, I've known you on Instagram for 5 years. And wow, we finally get to meet at this con. If they're a Texas actor, like it's mostly more common with Texas actors because I mean they're in Dallas and we're in LA. And I've met a lot of people that way as well in person. And some are coming here to LA, meeting them for the first time. And so yeah, it's so cool to finally meet someone that you've been talking to. Like they've been like pen pals. We're all doing our thing, seeing growth, and people becoming more successful, their dreams accomplishing their dreams. It's so cool to see that, and we're all doing this fun job, and we get to celebrate. and hang out, game together, eat together, party together.
But it must feel surreal, like talking to someone, because again, it's a totally different experience from talking to someone from like for in person versus like texting someone on Twitter or whatever, you know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, you get to feel their energy, see what kind of person they are, and and some people look different in person too, like, um but I always like when people recognize me, I'm like, oh, I think I look different. I look the same, but like, but like you don't really connect it until you see them. Like for them to know you're that person from seeing pixels on a screen and they recognize you, like it's that's what surprises me. Like, oh, you recognize me. Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, you do look familiar. It's pretty cool. I love it.
Oh,
I've met a lot of good friends like that
oh, I don't know if
in the
this
Texas
happened.
scene.
I don't know if this happens to you, but like, but with voice actors, especially with because I think I mean, it happens to a lot of actors. I mean, you get to a point where you get a couple headshots here and there, and you don't need to update them. So that headshot becomes synonymous with you as a person.
Yeah.
So it is kind of jarring seeing like people that only have like one headshot from like a couple years ago at cons,
Yeah,
and it's
like
like what?
yeah, I mean, even for me, like my current headshots when my locks were really short and now they're way longer. So like, oh, gotta get a redo. Actually, getting more headshots really soon. And so yeah, it's mostly the hair. Like a lot of people, they gain muscle or maybe they don't gain muscle, and we change over time. Like a year, you can change so much in a year. And yeah, and voice actors don't usually need to get headshots but I do think that it is, you know, it's good to update every once in a while to show who you are today, because we're always changing.
Yeah, because I just was because just before recording this conversation, I was like scrolling through Instagram and someone posted a picture and I'm like, huh, it's kind of weird looking at that person now versus where they were like 6 years ago, you
Oh
know?
yeah, so much can change in 6 years. Yeah, totally.
It's like, a lot more gray hair. It's like, oh boy.
Yeah, stress is real. Yep.
Now, and speaking of the last 6 years, I know that COVID happened, and I'm kind of wondering, like, when that happened, did you already have a home studio built in, or did you have to like build one from scratch?
I would even call it a studio. I had a Blue Yeti on a mic stand on a isolation shield. I did know to do that, but yeah, when the pandemic happened, yeah, we actually had a group of us with studio engineers, and they told us what type of mics to get. Most of us had USB mics. Now we got XLR mics and interfaces, and we had to upgrade and make our closets in the studios or get a studio bricks, um, or whisper rooms. So yeah, I did have to upgrade to stay competitive during that time.
And did you record anything from home, or was it all, or did you
I
not record
did.
anything?
I recorded Demon Slayer in my closet. I recorded uh um Promise Neverland season 2 in my closet. I recorded Face's music party from the closet. From the closet studio. A lot of like stuff I did in my closet studio. A lot of indie projects, video games. Yeah, that closet um went through it. It saw so many different characters and it did its job.
And do you prefer recording from home or in studio, or does it not make a difference?
In studio, definitely, because when I'm at home, I gotta be an engineer. I gotta watch my gain. I At a studio, I can just be an actor. I can be in a room that doesn't feel like my home closet, and I could just I feel more in the space when I'm in the studio. So whenever they ask me, "Hey, you want to do it at home or in the studio?" I'm like, "Studio, 100%." I have a home studio, but studio, 100%. I want to feel like I'm in. I want to feel like I'm in it. Like I don't want to feel like I'm at home recording. I want to be in a studio. It's much better mentally, and like just the space and the energy's different.
It's just like just let me record in studio so I can yell without having to blow out my game.
Yep, exactly.
And speaking of yelling, I mean, well, I mean your character doesn't yell a lot, but it is a show with a lot of yelling. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. How did you get involved in that?
Oh wow. Okay, that one, my boy Pocoloco. So I've been wanting to be in JoJo for a long time. I actually auditioned for a few characters in JoJo. Shigeki from Diamond is Unbreakable. I auditioned for Narancia and Golden Wind. I auditioned for Emporium, Emporio in part six, Stone Ocean. And when I got this, it was actually code named. I didn't know it said untitled boxing anime. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I do a little bit of boxing. So I didn't even know who I was reading for. It wasn't until like I went to like a party, I heard somebody saying like, "Hey, did you read for that one project? You know what that is, right?" I'm like, "No, what is it?" It's JoJo. I'm like, "What?" And then like they were like, in the character that was Poco Loco. I'm like, "What?" So after wanting to be in JoJo for so long, I wanted to be in JoJo because I come from an animation background, like prelay animation, so big energy, cartoony, SpongeBobby, Nickelodeon energy. That's where my early work was. Cartoon Network, being like, my first like cartoon was a Cartoon Network pilot. So I came from that big animated energy, and JoJo fits that so perfectly. And so I'm like, I want to be a part of that. And so I found out about Poco Loco being in part seven, Steel Ball Run, and I'm like, interesting. First, I was looking up black characters in JoJo, and I'm like, Poco Loco, interesting. I want to be him. So it was literally on my goal list. And I'm like, I want to voice him. I have a few characters on my goal list, and he was one of them. And so I am so glad I did not know it was Poco Loco when I auditioned because I would have overthunk everything. Like I would have it, it would have taken me, I would have did like 100 takes. But because I was just like, oh, boxing anime, I cared about the audition, but I was like, I wasn't as like, when you want something, you're a lot more like, I gotta get it. So you put so much into it, it doesn't become authentic. It becomes like, you want it so bad. So when I found out it was Poco Loco, the audition was already done, and I'm like, oh wow. And then like at that time, I already had I was on a veil that for this project. So I told my girlfriend, I'm like, babe, I think I booked Poco Loco in JoJo. That was JoJo I read for. And she's like, no way. On your goal list? That Poco Loco? I'm like, yeah. I believe that's yeah, and like it but I'm like, no, I until I go in there and see it and know that it's JoJo, I'm not gonna say anything. So I didn't know it was JoJo or 100% it was JoJo or Poco Loco until I went to the studio and then I saw him on the screen and I was about to record. So that's how secretive it was. And you can imagine my excitement when I was in that booth and it was great and I'm so grateful.
Yeah, because I remember when they when it was announced that they were doing Steel Ball Run, everyone was like, "Oh, who's going to be voicing who?" And you look at a character like Poco Loco, you immediately think Zena Robinson or AJ Beckles, right? But nope.
Yep. You know, um, those two guys, they're friends of mine, and they've done a lot of great work. I'm a fan of their work as well. Like I love a lot of the characters that they do. I'm so glad that the cast director was gave me a shot, um, gave me a chance to bring this character to life. Because I work really hard, and this I just feel like sometimes I just wanted to prove myself. I just wanted to finally like voice a character that means a lot to people, you know? And now I finally got my shot and people seem to love the performance and Pocoloco's been opening up a lot of doors and it's I'm so grateful. So glad that I was finally recognized for my hard work. And yeah, shout out to the team for giving me a shot. Very
Uh,
grateful.
yeah, because I mean, he's a, again, I don't want to get into too much spoilers because we haven't we're still waiting for the rest of the series to air as of this recording. So, can't get too much into too much spoilers, but he's an important character. And trust me, like you're gonna look back on this interview and be like, yeah, that's why Abdullah wanted to interview Cedric, because that's why. But yeah,
Well, thank you so much for because I haven't read the manga, so I know what's gonna happen like with him, but I don't know how he's gonna get there. So I am aware um of some things, but I don't know everything. So thank you for reassuring me.
yeah, because he's a very big deal. So and and from what I hear, I'm kind of glad that people agree that he's much more charismatic in the anime adaptation than he was in the manga. Because in the manga, it's like, he kind of felt like a one joke character. But once you see his story animated, it's like, oh, it hits different because it's a different medium, and the way they did it is much more, you kind of get why he is the way he is in the anime adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I
and
might
I
have to
think
read the manga to see what happens.
and I think like you said, you not knowing that it was for JoJo and that you could just do it like a regular audition. I think that helped you in the end because he's a very like chill, laid back guy who doesn't like doesn't mind anything. He's just so happy go lucky for an antagonist.
Yeah. Yep. And I love that vibe that he has. Like he's lucky. He's just going through life in this race without knowing anything big or dangerous going on. He's just living his life, and he's that $1 billion luck, that billion 1 in 1 billion luck guy, and he's gonna get through this race unscathed.
Yeah, I mean, he's such a fun character, and he's like, it's kind of funny looking at him, and it's like, yeah, he's probably like the most normal character in the JoJo universe, when you look at the rest.
So much fun. He matches my energy perfectly. You just see a character and you just sort of and you're like, that works. Like that's me. That's who I want to be. Um, yeah, he's one of a few that I have on my list and I'm just so grateful that I finally have a chance to check off like a character that I really wanted. Because a lot of the characters that you read for, it may not be like a character that you want or even knew that you wanted until you do it. But we all have like goals. Like some of us want to be a Ninja Turtle or a Transformer. Some of us want to be in certain shows. So it's good to like when you finally get that, it's a huge like blessing and accomplishment, and you just feel so good that you finally, you know, I no pun intended, I feel really lucky that I got him.
And out of all the characters you've voiced, which one would you say was the most challenging or difficult?
Probably Leon and Pokemon Masters because the accent, I'm not really good at accents. It's not my strength. And he has a British inspired accent. It's more, it's Galarian, which is the region where he's from. But I did struggle a lot with the accent. I did talk to a friend beforehand has a British accent, and he did help me out. So he made it a lot better for me to like get some of the words right. But I was focusing too much on the accent. It worked out, but it was a struggle. The most struggle I've had with a character. I'm glad people still love my take on Leon. But yeah, that I learned a lot, and I need to get better at accents. Getting better at it currently.
Oh man, I can't imagine doing an accent for like an anime because it's a different style of acting and you have to dub at the same time to keep the accent as well. So,
Oh yeah, definitely.
sounds nightmarish.
Scary.
No, but I mean, that's another thing that's a lot of people don't understand. Like people who the people who can do really good dialects are a dime are not a dime a dozen, but like are super rare because it's like it's tough. It's really tough. Like having to not only match a language that you don't like speak, but like what do you call it? Like be authentic as well. So
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah. An actual British person could definitely tell that I wasn't a native speaker for Leon. That's why I'm like, this isn't a British accent. It is a Galarian accent, a fictional accent. So that's how I got away with it.
I mean, hey, as long as it works in the booth, and it's like, ah, it's fine, as long as
The
the director
director.
tells you, yeah, it tells you
Yep,
it's okay, it's okay.
exactly.
And speaking of directors, like you've worked with a lot of like really talented directors. Who would you say was like, you got who would you say is your favorite to work with?
That's hard. I mean, I love all the directors I've worked with, but ones that one that I've become really good friends with. I work at this studio called Verite. I did a lot of like cartoons there, like Boris and Rufus, Ghost Force, Droners, currently Mermaid Magic, and there was a team of there of people that became good friends because I there was a period where I did like so many shows with them that we became friends. Like we hung out, we went to their birthday parties and had ramen, and so those directors there were really like those these weren't even animes. These were like French cartoons and like animated projects. So those directors, I love all the directors I've worked with, but these directors during that time period of doing all those shows, it was the first time where like I went into the studio and I'm like, it was just like not even going to work. We were just friends having a good time making a product that we loved, and it became a friendship. Like we still, and they've moved on to other studios too, and like I see them there, and it's like we never left, and like we built that bond. So I'll say those. I'll say that. It's so this business is it's all about relationships, and you know how like in the on camera world you have directors that work with certain actors for all their films. Like I want to see more of that in the voiceover industry. Like I want to directors like getting their muse, their favorite actors, and just putting them in everything. Like I want to be a Michael B. Jordan to somebody's Ryan Coogler one day.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. I don't think you see that a lot in voiceover because it's like such a small world to begin with. So it's like,
Yeah.
and most of the time, like the successful, I don't want to use the word successful. It sounds too mean. But like the people who are constantly booking stuff are already in like a lot of projects to begin with. So, you already hear them in a lot of stuff to begin with. So you don't really need someone to be like, hey, I really like this one person. Can we get them in for this one thing when they're already in this thing, you know?
Yeah. Um, studios have their favorites. And I appreciate when studios allow new people who they haven't worked with to have a chance to be in projects too. That's how we keep it fresh. But it's you just gotta keep working hard, and if you gotta be undeniable, you gotta keep trying, gotta keep auditioning, and eventually you'll work with the people that you want to work with and the studios that you want to work with. So it's gonna be hard. You're gonna get a lot of rejection. You're gonna see the same people get the roles that you want. But if you keep on, you keep showing up, eventually you'll be in that ensemble too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a very, it's a tough business to get into, but once you're in, gotta keep grinding until until you
Mm-hmm.
can't anymore.
Yep. Exactly.
So yeah. And out of all the characters you've voiced, which one would you say like best defines your acting style?
I would say two in particular. One character is Face on Nickelodeon because that was literally just me. Like I was just literally going into the booth, being myself, doing all these crazy voices and like educating people and like, being this warm, inviting character that has so many different things that he can do. Face, for those who don't know, is a mascot from the '90s. They brought him back for his own show called Face's Music Party. It lasted for a season and a half, and I was a new face. Um, Chris Phillips was Face in the '90s, and for this, they allowed me to just bring my whole full personality. I didn't have to like act or anything. I just had to like just be myself, doing these different songs and these different like because Face also he the whole show is his world. So every character you see in there is him. So I would play like a gecko, a giraffe, uh, a carrot, and it was all him, but different versions of him. He would transform it into different things. So that was a pretty cool experience. And then the second one is Leo. He's a character I play in a cartoon called Friend Space. That's Friend Z Space. Um, it's about three kids that go to different planets and they make friends with aliens. And it teaches kids that no matter how different we are, we can all coexist and be friends. So they go to these different planets, learn the culture of that planet, and become friends with those aliens. And it was really cool because the character, when I auditioned for it, did not look like me. He was a different race. And when I booked the character, they changed the character to look like me, um, and gave him my personality traits: energetic, love kung fu movies, goofy, uh, adventurous, and so I have a really close connection with Leo. Not a lot of people know about Friend Space, and maybe a lot of kids know about the cartoon, but like the average person that knows my work don't know about this show. But that character really means a lot to me just because of what he became after I booked him.
I mean, thank you for mentioning Face because I totally forgot about that. It's like, oh yeah, they
All
brought that
good.
character back for some
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah. That was crazy. That took about three or four, maybe 3 to 4 auditions to book him. That was crazy. I had to sing, I had to rap. Oh my gosh, that was an audition process right there. But shout out to Nickelodeon for letting me play as that character for a little bit. That was fun.
Especially for like, because it's for a much younger audience, so you have to be like,
Yeah,
okay, you have to have that acting style where it's like, okay, you gotta like, he can't be cynical, he can't be like,
yeah.
he can't be a jerk, basically, is what
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to say.
He has to be warm and educational and always have a smile on his face.
So you have to be constantly in a good mood whenever you record as him, otherwise they can tell it's fake.
Yeah, even when like something quote unquote bad happens in the episode, I can't come off like woe is me. I have to come off like, this bad thing happened, but we're gonna get through it together with a smile.
And seeing as I mean, you mentioned in the at the beginning of this interview that you've been keeping up with certain shows that I have not been keeping up with because my backlog is getting worse by the day. So, and I just wanted to ask, like, what shows are you currently watching?
I'm rewatching Doctor Stone. Um, I finished watching Death Note for the 10th time not too long ago. Um, I'm going to continue watching Frey Ren. As you can see, there's a pattern here. I really love fantasy and I love unique shows with unique concepts. I really want to start watching Witch Hat. I'm just waiting for it to like get more episodes so I can binge. Um, I've mostly been gaming though. Like I replayed Kingdom Hearts 2 and I played 3 for the first time. So yeah, that's what I've been cooking up right now, watching and playing right now. Um, do you have any recommendations for
I mean,
anime in particular?
I'm terrible when it comes to keeping up with shows. I'm the last person anyone should ever ask to be like, "Hey, what have you been keeping up with?" I'm like, I just can't. I just there's just too many shows. I can't keep up with stuff. I'm like, I barely kept up with like I just like barely kept up with like the new Lanterns show. It's like, oh man, got
Oh,
to
yeah,
keep
I
up
feel
with
you.
that.
Oh, one show I did watch that I'm watching currently as well is Hajime no Ippo. Like that show really inspired me. Um, and I had no idea that my director um was the voice of Ippo. I had no Steve Staley. Like I didn't know. I knew he was Neji, but I did not know that he was Ippo. And I'm like, bro, I saw him at a party not too long ago, and I was like, you voiced Ippo. You were my director for these shows. I had no idea, bro. Like, I love Ippo so much. Thank you for what you do as Ippo. You inspire me.
Those are my favorite stories. Like, cause I kind of missed the days, cause I'm getting older, and I pretty much recognize most people in shows nowadays, and like I don't want to say like the magic is kind of gone because I'm still impressed by performances, but like, I kind of miss the days when I found out like, oh, Tom Kenny was also this other character. He wasn't just SpongeBob, you know?
Yeah, I feel you. I he is my favorite voice actor, by the way, Tom Kenny. SpongeBob has really like shaped my personality. And I got to work with him on a show called Afternoon Super. Um, it We had the pilot come out, but it ended up not. Well, when Warner Brothers was getting rid of shows, it was one of the shows that it got rid of. We worked on it for 3 years, and it was cool to like see him in studio. Like I walked in one of his sessions one day. I was it was he was doing it remote. I think this is during the pandemic, and I got to see the last little 5 minutes of his session. I'm like, greatness, my goat. And then I met him at the Kids Choice Award. I've actually run into him 3 times. One when I first started voice acting at this like it was like this bar where like a mixer for voice actors. Then the second time I met him, because I didn't get to meet him at the studio because he was remote, but I got to see him. And then I saw him at another like voice actor mixer, and then I met him at the Kids Choice Awards. Um, oh, did I meet him 4 times? I also went to one of his performances too because he's in a band called Tom Kenny and the High Seas. I had to go support my goat. But yeah, I've seen him plenty of times. And I just saw him recently at Comic Con, but I didn't say anything to him because he had a long line. But they say don't meet your heroes. I met my hero, and he is a brilliant person, so polite, so inspiring, and I want to be like him when I grow up. Him and Deborah Wilson are my two that like I just want to be like them.
No, I mean, because I unfortunately I haven't had the chance to meet Tom Kenny virtually or at a con, but I'm hoping someday because
Yeah,
you talk about because again like because I've done this show for a while now and I still have I still tell people I haven't even scratched the surface when it comes to people I want to interview for this show, so so.
I mean you're doing a good job. You're on like episode 300, 400 something.
I mean, the interviews are like, I think this is like the 200th something interview I've done. So, I don't know. Must be doing something right if I've talked to
Yeah,
200 something people.
yeah, man, you're doing great. Thank you for providing a platform for us to just kick back and talk about our stories. Um, I appreciate it, man. I know it took a while to get here, but I respect the platform. I respect what you're doing, and I'm happy that we finally made it happen.
Another show, while we're on the subject of like Western animation, another show I wanted to talk about because I haven't gotten a chance to talk about this show because again I barely I barely get a chance to talk about anything these days is Tiny Toons because I know that you were in one episode and
Oh yeah.
I remember when I watched that episode I'm like, is that Zeno Robinson? Is that Zeno Robinson? It sounds like Zeno Robinson, but I know it isn't. you know? But then
I
and
mean,
and
we do get mistaken a lot together. Me, Zeno, and AJ, similar tones, read for the same things. So it's I see where you're coming from. Yeah, that was a really fun opportunity to be a part of something as legendary as Tiny Toons. Um, it was one of those auditions where when I read for it, I booked it like 3 or 4 days or to a week later. Like it was really quick. I'm like, wow, they must have really liked what I did. So that was fun to be a part of that. And I did read for the other characters before, like Plucky and Hampton. So it was, when you don't get the lead characters, you get other auditions, and I was lucky enough to book this one. So yeah, it was a fun experience.
oh, and then you see who got it, and you're like, of course they're gonna cast David Arrigo Jr. He's incredible as those characters.
Oh yeah, his range is crazy.
Like I don't say this a lot about like because it's very rare nowadays, especially when I get I mean like I said I'm getting older and I'm not as impressed as I used to be, like the magic is kind of gone for me. But like I remember when I heard him on that show and I'm like, this guy is scary freaking good, like genuinely scary, like how he can just contort his vocal cords into a way that is not humanly possible. It's like, are you a mutant, sir?
Yeah, like people like him and Eric Bauza, like yeah, that insane talent right there. Like they're there's different like types of voice actors. They're chameleons.
Oh, definitely. Like, especially like when because again, like I mean, like I said before, I'm someone who prides myself on like recognizing people when it comes to stuff. But every time he's been on a show, I'm like, is that him? No, I can't be the same guy. And then it's like, well, it's like, oh, it's just
Yep.
it's one of those things. Because I remember, like, Tom Kenny. I think, to me, like, my first realization of, like, truly people, like, oh, voiceover is a thing that people can do, is like the Futurama audio commentaries on on DVD back in the day. I would listen to those, and just hearing like Billy West and John DiMaggio go in and out of character, I'm like, what? That's a person?
Yeah,
What?
sometimes them talking to themselves as different characters. That's really cool. I did that once, so a few times actually. Well, when I was Face, I talked. There was a time where I was 10 characters on the screen at one time, and then also in Ghost Force, I play two characters that interact once or twice, and then Droners, I voiced three different characters that have different voices that was in a scene together. So it's fun when you get to talk to yourself.
And I mean, when you're doing something like that, do you usually take a pause before like switching the character, or can you do it like simultaneously?
No, for that, like we record them like separate. Like we do all the first character's lines, and then like we reset, and then we do all the other characters' lines, and they line them up later on.
Oh, so it's not like the old days where Frank Welker can just walk in and just like have a conversation with himself and like no
I
one would
mean,
stop him.
I guess people can still do that, but it's the magic of editing makes it sound like they literally just did it back to back.
Yeah, because a lot of times I keep forgetting, like, when you're watching shows, you're just like, oh yeah, I keep forgetting like editing is like a thing, you know. You
Yeah.
know?
I sometimes forget that too when I'm auditioning. I'm like, this has to be a perfect take. And then when I mess up, I'm like, no, I got to scrap the whole take. No, I could just pause, snap my finger, and just do the take again, and just replace the one that I flubbed.
That's again, I keep and I keep forgetting to do that sometimes when it comes to like, audio editing, because I'm like, I keep leaving in flubs. I'm like, I should cut that out. I don't know why I keep that why I kept that in. You
Yep, I
know?
feel you. Yep, editing is magic, truly. Like audio engineers are wizards. How they make us sound.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially when it comes to like, especially when they're doing like an ensemble record and they have to make sure that there's no overlap. Good Lord.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, and outside of voiceover, do you have any personal hobbies?
I do. I game a lot. Have a PS5. I have a lot of retro systems as well. I work out. Um, I like to go hiking sometimes. I like nutrition, and I like trying different types of foods. And I'm starting to get into Magic the Gathering. So that's a few things that I'm. Oh, and Pokemon. I collect Pokemon cards. I have graded cards. I have raw cards, and yeah, that's a little bit of what I do outside of voice acting.
Oh man, I can't believe you actually have the time to go to play the Kingdom Hearts games again, because those are like an investment in of
Yes,
themselves.
I play them at night, and I stay up late when I should be going to bed because I got a session in the morning. But and then on weekends is when I get to really like unwind and play a lot of games.
No, but that's crazy that you made time for those. And here I am like being like, oh, I can't play a lot of video games anymore because they're too long. You know, just I'm just becoming that guy. The older I get, I'm like, video games are too long. Make them short again.
I like a long story. You get to be with the characters longer, and you get to immerse yourself in that world for even longer. That's why I don't mind long anime like One Piece because we got so much story with those characters.
Like it's funny with me because like, I'll watch like The Simpsons like countless times and I don't care, but like when it comes to something like One Piece, I'm like, it's too long. It's just I don't know what's wrong with me sometimes. It's like, oh yeah, I'll watch like one long series and just like not and just ignore the other long series.
There's a lot of content out there. It's hard to choose one.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like, my backlog is getting bigger and at the same time, like, there's just way too much options and a lot of times it's like especially when and sometimes like, I'll just watch a show that I have no interest in because someone I interviewed or someone I know personally is in it and I'm like, "Oh, I want to check this out to see what they did."
Hmm.
So, I don't know. It's like the older I get, the more I'm just like, it's just like there's too much content, there's too much stuff. I just can't with this. It's like I just can't. I'm sorry. I'm sure it's great. I just can't watch it. It's just I've never, talk to me in like 10 years from now and then it's like, "Oh yeah, I finally watched this thing that everyone stopped talking about."
What a time to be alive, though. All this different nerddoms that we can, like, all these different things we can watch. Like, if you're a nerd, it's a great time. Like, if you're a fan of something, there'll be content and stuff for you to watch. Endless. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, but at the same time it becomes harder to keep track of everything and just be like,
It
"Oh,
does, yeah.
And
So,
sometimes it's like are they gonna release it in like in season batches or are they gonna do like one episode per week? Because then that becomes a whole other thing where it's like okay if it's like one episode per week I can like handle it, but if it's like an entire like episode an entire season drop I'm like oh boy.
hmm, I feel you. I do like the binge all the I do like all the episodes coming out all at once so I can binge.
I could that's crazy because a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I just want to like watch it like weekly or one episode at a time." But I'm like, I don't know, man. Yeah, different strokes for different folks, I guess.
Yep. Depends on how much content you can take in at a time.
Do you ever get overwhelmed by it though? Like having to keep up
I
with so much
do.
stuff.
Yeah, cause like there's a lot of anime I do want to watch, but you know, a lot of games I want to play. But yeah, there's not enough time to play everything. It's sort of like I'm feeling like a Kingdom Hearts flavor right now. I'm feeling like a Naruto flavor right now. Flavored ice cream. Like let's do that today. You know, it just depends on what you're in the mood for. But we have so many choices, and it's a great time. Um, It is a lot, but it's a good thing to have all this stuff because we'll never be bored.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like there's always something to watch. Like you can always go back and watch. Because here's the thing, like you can complain about streaming all you want, and believe you me, I do get the criticisms of how it changed the way that we consume media and how we interact with media. I get that, but at the same time, I am thankful that now I live in a world where I can just like pull up anything I want to watch and just watch it whenever I want. I'm just thankful for that, you know.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's not like the old days where you had to like keep track of the schedules and keep track of what show is on and what and if it was a repeat or not. You know?
Yep. Totally. You're right. No more just going to Blockbuster getting VHS tapes. We all have it now on Netflix or any streaming network, and it's all there.
Yeah, man, definitely. And before I wrap this up, because I don't want to keep you on longer than I should, because I would love to talk to you more, but I know that you're a busy guy, and I kind of don't want to like keep you on longer than I should. So, before I wrap this up, can you give us an update on what you're currently working on and where can people find you online?
Yeah. Currently working on Chainsmoker Cat, the anime, on Netflix. Currently working on I hear there's more Steel Ball Run coming out, so maybe I'm working on that. I'm working on a few video games. Can't say what those are yet. I'm working on a lot of exciting. Most it's been mostly video games and some anime. Um, you guys can find me on. Oh, and uh, I forgot. I need to plug this. A video game character that I am very excited about is coming out tomorrow. Well, when you hear this, it'll probably already be out on the 27th. Duck King and Fatal Fury City of the Wolves is a legendary fighting game, and he's a legacy character. So he's coming out tomorrow. And I'm really excited because I've always wanted to be a fighting game character. So yeah, I can be found on Instagram at instagram.com/ Cedric L Williams, Cedric L Williams. Um, On Twitter, I am Ced Williams Jr. That's CED Williams Jr. On TikTok, I think is it Cedric Williams VO? I got two TikToks. I think it's Cedric Williams VO, whichever one has the most followers, or Cedric L Williams, one of those two. And then I am also a Twitch streamer. I haven't streamed in a while because work has been plentiful, but I am a Sloth Hero VTuber, and my name on Twitch is Adagio Hero VT. Adagio is Adagio Hero HERO VT. I'm a VTuber, and I play uh, JRPGs, retro games, cozy games, horror games, a lot of stuff like that. So yeah, you can find me on all those platforms.
Man, that's a lot of platforms to keep up with. Good Lord.
Hmm.
But anyway, thank you so much for taking the time off to do this. I know that, like we said, we had to reschedule this, but I'm glad we finally did it. Yay!
Yes, indeed.
All right, take care. Bye bye.
Thank you too. Bye.